Okay. Hey guys, team call. Okay, so first off, I want to announce that we are going to have a new team call time per majority votes on the poll. So we're going to try it out, not this week, obviously, but we're going to try it out Wednesdays at 7 p.m. was the majority vote. And we'll see how that goes. The second best was our current call time, but half the people that voted that aren't on. So we're going to try Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So if you're watching the recording, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Next, if you do not have your tickets to Super Weekend, get your ticket, because if you listen to the national wake up call, which I hope you did, then you know, like you heard Sandy say, how important getting to live events are. Like getting to live events, like you just feel different. You just get a different feeling for it all. You get the energy boost and everything. So you have to get to live events. I literally can't explain it. Like you just have to go. Those of you that went to Summit, like you understand. You have this whole like rush of energy and like new perspective of running the business and how you can do things differently versus what you've learned from me or on YouTube or whatever it may be. Like you have to get to live events. Otherwise, like I just don't believe that you're treating it like a business. Period. So if you're not registered for Super Weekend, November 2nd, if you need help registering or finding one that's near you, let me know. I will help you find one because you have to get to one. Next, I believe November 1st is when the Peppermint Mocha, maybe it's not November 1st, but the Shakeology, I think it's Peppermint Mocha, coming out in November. And it's just, again, it's not like a forever thing, it's a seasonal thing. So they probably will have limited supply. But I talked to some people that were at leadership and they said it was amazeballs. So I'm going to get some. Excuse me. I think that's really it. Joel, I'm sure we'll learn more about it at Super Weekend, but Joel is coming out with a new program called 9 Rounds, which I'm assuming is like a MMA boxing type related program, similar to like Core de Force or Fight Club from Jericho's program, I imagine. So stay tuned for Super Weekend about that. I do not know if the peppermint mocha is super minty. I will try and ask people that sampled it at Summit or at Leadership to find out for sure. Okay, so tonight I'm gonna get like super down and real, and just like putting my heart out there. And please, like as I say things, remember that I'm not some just like robot, and coaching isn't like the only thing that goes on in my life, but I never stop coaching. Like I never take breaks from coaching because it has changed my life. And so a lot of times when I talk to people, I'm just going to kind of dive into it, and I guess you'll probably catch on to why I said what I just said. But the title that I kind of brought up for tonight's call was Community, Team, and Trying Something New. And I want to dive into community because someone reached out to me recently and said, I wish I would have joined your team. And at first I was kind of brought back because I was like, I feel like my team hates me kind of thing. Just fear of not being liked over here. So I'm always like, this person hates me, no one likes me kind of thing. But I just was like super taken back by it. But then I asked, well, how much do you work your business and how serious about it are you? And the reason for that is like she wanted to be part of a community, and she kind of felt left out, and she saw like me hanging out with other coaches and like me hosting team calls and stuff and shouting people out, and she said, I wish I would have joined your team. And the reason I asked her like, how much do you work your business and how serious about it are you, because the reason some of my best friends are other coaches are because as humans, we hang out and surround ourselves with people who are like us. So if you look at literally any top coach, you'll see that, and I know a lot of you follow coaches, and I'm sure you followed their stuff at Leadership and everything, and you get FOMO and everything. But if you look at any top coach, you'll see that They're like all best friends with other top coaches, and not because they're arrogant or stubborn, but because they drew a line in the sand at some point and set out to build a business, and then they connected with like-minded women and ran together. We surround ourselves with people who are like us. We hang out with people who are like us. And so what I assumed is that whatever team she's on, and I guess I shouldn't say I assumed, but the reason I asked her, how much do you work your business and how serious are you about it? Because for me, I connected with like some of my very best friends or other coaches who at one point in time, I decided that I wanted to go full in on this business. And when I started working, I connected with other coaches who also wanted to go in with this business and love Beachbody. And I've surrounded myself with like-minded people who love this business as much as I do and want to run to the top as much as I do, if that makes sense. People literally crave community. That's why I haven't canceled team calls regardless of how few of people get on them, or how, hardly anyone shows up anymore. But that's why I haven't canceled team calls. People crave community. I still show it on my stories, and people very often message me saying that when they're ready to sign up, they're so excited to get on team calls with us. People freaking crave community. You cannot grow without community, because the way that you do grow is from having a growing community, which leads me into team. When I first made the decision to go all in with coaching, the one thing that I visioned over and over and over again, and I just always had it on my mind, was a team. And, when I first joined, I was part of a team, we're all part of a team, but I was part of a different team who this girl, she no longer coaches. And everybody in that team page was always in there asking questions, answering questions for people, shouting people out. It was the most amazing community. And that's kind of what drew me into coaching from the start, was the community. And ever since I dove all the way in, she had kind of quit before I fully dove in, I just dreamed of oh my gosh, imagining all of us going on a retreat together and being able to host a retreat for all these people who are running together and laughing and going on trips together and just being best friends. Because I have a very best friend, but we're very different people. She's very comfortable with where she's at, and I talk to her every day. We have very different goals. She's not the person who I would want to go on a girls trip, because I'm very driven and very much so my past does not determine my future, and I know I can get there, and I know I'm going to get there. And my closest friends now are other coaches who are running to the top and who we can do this together with. And so over and over and over again, I visioned this massive team with all of us down on the elite floor with, hosting retreats and everything, and just always doing things together in this huge group of best friends. That was my big vision. That's what I wanted more than anything. Community is literally everything. Team is literally everything. And when things go wrong in life or things come up, coaching is usually the first thing that people let go of. And it makes me so freaking sad, because I know what this opportunity has to offer. But it's true. Coaching is literally the first thing that people let go of, that they put on the back burner. But in most circumstances, if you really think about it, coaching is the one thing that can help those situations. When I was scared of my financial situation, which I joined when I was scared of my financial situation, but other times when I was really, truly scared of my financial situation, I worked more on my business and I earned more because of coaching. When I was struggling with anxiety, I still do from time to time, I was able to turn to exercise or throw on a podcast or a personal development book, which is a tool that was introduced into my life through coaching. I hadn't shared this with anyone, and I'm kind of freaking out that I'm sharing this with only 3 other people on. I have not posted about this. The only people that know are family and a few really close friends, one of them who's on this call. But when I had a miscarriage less than a month ago, it was the day before I was about to leave for an event that I truly believed was life-changing. The day before I left to go to this event, I found out that I had a miscarriage. And I never previously would have even considered attending this event had I not been a coach. I did not want to go to this event. I curled up on the couch, I cried, and I had to drive to Milwaukee, which was an hour and a half away, to stay with a friend, to fly across the country the next day after just finding out I had a miscarriage. And during, this time, I didn't have to suck it up and go to work. I was gifted with the ability to work from my home, helping women, other people, in a time when I personally felt helpless. And I found comfort in talking to other coaches who are some really great friends. Team is literally everything. Community is literally everything. And it just blows my mind when coaching is the first thing that people let go of. And they don't look in the future, and they all of a sudden just think, well, it's not for me, I'm not capable, I have too much going on right now, when this can be a tool to get out of whatever the situation is. I really believe that it's a gift. And I honestly did not want to go to this event because of what I was going through. And I truly believe that this event changed my freaking life. I met some really amazing people. I had so much fun. I was able to just be surrounded with so much positive energy, versus had I not gone, I would have been curled up on the couch, probably would have sent Blair to a grandparent's house and not been able to do anything. But because of coaching, and I was introduced to live events and have been resourceful and seeking out other learning opportunities because of coaching that started all of this, I was able to go to this event, and it literally changed my life. Hands freaking down. But during this time, I didn't have to go to work. I know I already said that, but I just keep thinking back, if I would have had to go to work, if I would have had to, be at home with Blair being sassy or whatever. And I didn't. I was gifted with this opportunity. Team is literally everything when we lean in and do it together. When we show up on calls together, when we support each other together, when we run together. Also, someone asked me recently if I would ever leave someone behind, taking a huge left turn from what I was just talking about. But someone recently asked me if I would ever leave someone behind. It was another coach who reached out, and they were feeling really drugged back by someone on their team. And my answer was yes. Yes, I would leave someone behind. And I say that with my head held high and very much confidence, not because I'm a cold-hearted bitch. I'm not at all a cold-hearted bitch. But because I'm not responsible for someone else's actions. I'm not responsible for someone else's success. I will run with the willing. I will never stop providing trainings, resources, and guidance. But if someone is not willing to seek out resources, if someone is not willing to hop on team calls to learn and be part of an amazing community, in my opinion, if someone is not willing to learn and put in the work, why should me and my family suffer from that? So yes, I'm willing to leave someone behind if they are not willing to work. That doesn't mean I don't like them. It means that my family is more important. I love my team. I've become really good best friends with others who are also running and who also have the same vision of me, because we surround ourselves with like-minded people. You are not responsible for your coach's success or lack thereof. We have a new coach mentorship that they can choose to do, or just as easily choose not to do. YouTube is free to search and find trainings on. Google is free to seek information on. You cannot make another coach do the work. And I truly believe speed of the leader, speed of the pack. You were made to be great. You were made to rise above. You were made to beat the 10-10-80 rule, which states that 10% will rise to the top, another 10% will be mediocre, and 80% will stay at the very bottom. You were meant to beat that rule. And we can do that together with the willing. Which brings me to my main topic tonight of trying something new. This might be harsh, I give tough love. So if you're watching the recording or if you're on live and you're not okay with tough love, respectfully, you may not want to listen. But if you, first of all, if you are like truly wanting to build this business, I understand that there are people out there, coaches out there who, they're not trying to hustle. That's totally fine. Speaking to those who truly want to build a business and have goals. If you are not hitting Success Club 10, I don't mean just Success Club. If you are not hitting Success Club 10, then what you're doing is not working. It's just not. Hear me out. If you are not hitting Success Club 10, then what you're doing is not working. So I want to talk about free groups, but in a different way that we've talked about before. Because before, I know Rachel's done a call before, and like I brought it up on different calls, and we've had guest speakers on free groups and everything, and you've heard whatever thing about free groups. I'm going to talk about something different. And also, going back to team for a second, I am so like invested in doing everything I can to help my team, you guys. So I signed up for a training recently, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant or big-headed or whatever you may think, but I signed up for a training recently that cost me $1,000. And the reason I signed up for it, when I was on the webinar, I was listening and it was very like enticing and I was really excited. But what caught me was when he said, you can do this and then you can teach your team to do this. So I bought the freaking training and I'm going through it, and it's pretty much solely, and I'm going to continue to share things that I learn as I'm going through it, but it's pretty much solely focused around running free groups. And I don't mean like signing people up for Beachbody On Demand free trial. Personally, I'm very against that. And with a business mindset, I have never signed somebody up with a free trial. Reason being, as a customer, if you sign me up with a free trial, I see that I have different options to sign up for the quarterly, the biannual, and the annual Beachbody On Demand for cheaper upfront than a challenge pack. So I'm going with that option. And if I go with that option and I see that Beachbody On Demand, I can get it for a year for $99 without having to purchase Shakeology, I'm never going to order Shakeology, because in my mind, without having to buy it to sign up, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay $130 when I sign up. It's just a superfood shake. It's just a stupid weight loss shake. Like, as a customer, that is my mindset. So I do not agree with the free trial personally. Now, I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people have had success with it, but I think from what I've heard and what I've seen, more people have not had success with it. And the goal is to, yes, help as many people as you can, but from a financial standpoint and trying to build and grow a team and build a significant income, you need to build a team. And as coaches, we need to be drinking Shakeology, because it is the core of Beachbody. Fitness plus Shakeology is the core of Beachbody. So that is my personal take that as you will. So when I say free groups, I don't mean sign someone up with a 14-day free trial for them to just sign up for a $99 program and get you like however much commission that is, whatever. You know what I mean? You want people to try Shakeology, you want to get a bigger commission, you want to be able to talk about the discount with them and all of that stuff. And if they try all of that, then they're more likely to sign up as a coach and drink it as a coach moving forward. So with free groups, I want you to think outside the box a little. Excuse me. So I recently started this relationship rebuild group, for example. I want you, and it totally can be about like nutrition or fitness, if that is like totally your jam and you're not having to steal things from Beachbody On Demand and all of that stuff, that's totally fine. But I don't want you, here's the catch with it. When doing a free group, I want you to go in with the intention of, I'm not getting any sales from this. This is a means to connect with people, because we get in our minds of, okay, connect with people, invite, try to get them as a customer. This is a means to build connections without the mindset of, okay, now how can I convert them to a customer, right? If you feel that connection building, I had all of my Success Club points this month so far. One from like the posts that I did, and like I just flat out said it, like lose weight before Halloween, like people want a quick fix. And I didn't say how much weight exactly, but like that was the kind of goal. But then also once I started this group and I continued to post about my fitness journey and such, then people started reaching out to me because I'm building connections. And I'm not saying you're going to all of a sudden get hundreds and thousands of people, but I want you to think. So in my group personally, I shared a real life story that I am going through or have gone through and have overcome about how Tyler's and my relationship started to kind of fall apart. And we did a series of things to overcome it. And now we have the best sex ever, basically. And I just asked, like, if I created a group just to kind of share what we did and build this community to like help your relationship, would you be interested in it? And I asked this like a month or so ago before I even dove into this training. It was just something that was on my heart. And again, I had no intentions of like getting any business out of it. It was just something that I had personally gone through. And with so many coaches saying like, build connections, build connections, build connections, like cold messages are not working. They are not working. So we have to stop cold messaging people, meaning inviting somebody that you have never talked to or had communication with before. We have to stop. It is not working. Okay. So for me, it's this relationship group where I'm literally in there doing live videos, asking questions, connecting with people. And in this group, like if honestly, like if you guys want to be in there, you could be in there too. I mean, like don't steal my people, but like you could totally be in there because it's open to anyone. And there are other coaches in there because it legitimately is to share what we did in our relationship. Again, I'm going to keep saying it without the intention of selling anything. And like, people are building friendships in there and people are sharing stories and like about how they were cheating. They're like really opening up and getting like down and dirty with it. Right. And I'm going live, like doing like short live videos, like little baby steps of what we did in the beginning. I'm answering questions. We're going to start doing weekly or bi-weekly Zoom calls to have like a Q&A and just like a girl hangout. Like I'm building a community. I'm building trust with people. Right. And so outside of that, I'm going to continue sharing my fitness journey, sharing coaching, sharing this group to get more people in there, all of that stuff. But the catch, again, is that I started it without the intention of selling something. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't, like I said, have a group focused on like fitness or something like that. So for me, if I wouldn't have been going through this like actual situation in life, or if I haven't done it, I suck at free groups. But I want to give you some ideas, so you can do, this one's going to be an ongoing group for me personally. You can do like a 1 week Planksgiving group where you do like a 1 week of different planks for a week and have little prizes in there as a means to connect with people. And then if you connect with people, if you have conversations with people and like you feel a connection, then and only then invite them to a challenge group, but don't just all of a sudden like cold message expecting something, right? So that's an idea of like a group where you have a start time and a definite end time. You have to have an end time if you're going to do a group like that. Or you could do like, if you have an Instapot of like Instapot for the holidays and get people in there to do different Instapot recipes. Or if you're into DIY projects, you could do something around like, let's get in a group and share our DIY projects and like what's, other things that we're making and like around the house, whatever it is, DIY projects. I don't know shit about DIY projects because I hate them personally, but I know some of you guys like that's your jam. So threw it out there. Another idea would be like if you struggle with like anxiety or mindset or something, you could have like a virtual book club where your focus is reading books and sharing book ideas and like different life things around anxiety or stress or, whatever it is. I'm trying to like think of other ideas, but just in my opinion, real life things that either you like or that you're going through or that you have gone through that you can share kind of thing is like easier than if you are someone who is into nutrition. Everyone knows I am not, so that would not be a good group for me to run because I would not have anything to say. But just, I'll use Jamie for example. She's really good at turning like crappy meals and like turning them to be healthier meals. So a good group for her would be something like that, like turning your favorite shit food into like healthy good food, or something like that, whatever. Yeah, so using these groups, and again, whether it's ongoing or if you have a definite like start and end date and you do one every other month or once a month or whatever it is, just using them to build connections. And then of course, making sure that you're liking and commenting in people's stuff too. There was a coach that had told me in a group, or well, I guess told the group that, she had followed up with somebody after inviting for a few months in a row. And the girl responded and said, "You don't even like or comment on any of my stuff." And I've never had anyone say that to me, but just, hearing that is just like a reminder to make sure you're engaging in people's stuff, especially if they're engaging in yours. And then another thing, so that's really what I have for group type stuff. Now, with what I did with like relationship type stuff, it's so like touches home for so many people. I created a Google form and made people check boxes saying like, I understand that you are not a licensed therapist, nor do like pretend to be or whatever, so that like for legality reasons, I don't know if I needed to, but like if you do something that like touches home like that, like cover yourself kind of thing. So I had them fill out a Google form, and then I got them added in. And then also I made sure to get everyone's email address. And I don't really know how to use Google Streak that well, but I'm using Google Streak and eventually would like to send out a newsletter, which I'm finally like getting into, but I just know I've heard so many times over and over and over and over again, if you want to build a business, you have to have an email list kind of thing. And so this was another way for me to grab email lists. So for my newsletter, when I do get it going, it's just going to be something like what happened in my life last month, what's new on my fitness journey, or, something for like old customers and people from this group to like keep me on their mind kind of thing, as a way to follow up but not follow up. Okay, do you guys have any questions about the group stuff? I feel like that was a lot of information. Okay, I just want you to like brainstorm, and I would love for you to like I'll post a thing in the group, and as you have ideas, I would love for you to just kind of share them and what you're thinking of doing. And then a couple like important things, like making sure that you are active in the group. I'm just trying to like think back to what the videos said, like in terms of groups. Make sure that you're actively in there and you're engaging with people and responding to people. If it's not an ongoing group, just, making sure you have a definite start and a definite end date so people know that this group is over, and then you can, do another one in the future kind of thing. And all of that. Okay, if there are no questions about the group stuff, I want to just take a couple minutes and just share what I think has been working well for me. I've had a pretty balanced customer base come from both Instagram and Facebook, and specifically from like Instagram stories and like obviously like Facebook posts. So it's super important, I think, to be on both platforms because they're two very different platforms. On average, only 5% of your followers are watching your stories. So if you're like having slower growth on Instagram and stuff like that, it's easier to get more eyes on your stuff on Facebook. So definitely doing that. When I've been following up with people who are interested and I've previously already given information to, I have been sending them one message with the price included. Say, this is what you get. You're going to get a fitness nutrition package with just like Netflix, but for fitness programs. I'm going to add you into our October virtual fit club. There's going to be weekly prizes. You're going to get me as your coach. You're going to get a 30-day supply of Shakeology, all that for $160. And that's what I've been saying to people. And, that's pretty much goes against everything that we've ever been taught, but it's been working. And I've had people say, like multiple people have said, "Oh my God, that's it? That's amazing." Yeah, absolutely. And then I've had a couple people say things, you know, like, yes, that is such a good deal. I can't right now, but I'm going to in a couple weeks. And I've just had nothing but really good responses from it, if I'm being completely honest. And I have not tried it out with new people yet who I've never given information to. But honestly, like, if you want to be an outstanding coach, you have to stand out and do something different versus always doing the same thing that every other coach is doing. So that, and then also having some sort of call to action in my stories almost every day. And every time someone new joins me, I shout them out in my stories. And I decided that with my Rocktober Fit Club or whatever, like, the engagement is pretty high in it. So because I finally have a high engaging group again, I'm going to keep that as an ongoing group and just turn it into like my virtual fit club to keep adding people in. And when I started it, I did like a recorded me showing Beachbody on Demand, and like I shared my screen of what Beachbody on Demand was and the importance of Shakeology, and take your before photos, here's why, and here's the rules of the group. Take your before photos, post in the group every day. Every week I'm going to post on Sunday, like, for you to rate yourself. And then those like prep videos, I put those in a units tab. So that way when new people come in, I'll send them an email with the link to the group and say, make sure you click on the units tab and go through the prep stuff. It'll show them how to use Beachbody on Demand, importance of Shakeology, make sure you send me your before photos and all of that. But I think what's key here is that I didn't start this until I had a pretty good engaging group. So that way when I add people in, there's already engagement going on and it's not just me posting. And then like showing that on my Instagram stories. Also, what I really believe, and I've gotten asked for feedback from people, is I try and make my Instagram stories engaging and like funny and want people to come back. So I'm not always like, just like, oh, I had a busy day today, I did this, blah, blah, blah. Like, if I went through every single thing that I did, like, I just did my invites, I just did my follow-ups, I just listened to, you know what I mean? Like, that's not fun to watch. So I try to be goofy and silly, and I literally have dance parties every day. And some days I'll put them on my stories when I'm like in a funk, like, well, here's my dance party because I'm in a funk. Best way to get yourself motivated. And like stuff like that, give people a reason to come back. And then also like with stories, if you're only ever just sitting there talking and like you haven't earned that time from people yet, sort of speak, you know, make sure you're changing it up with like boomerangs and still photos and like funny stories and whatever, so that it's not just like, oh, she's talking about work today, she's talking about her food, she's talking about this, right? Where people just will tap by sometimes. And then the last thing that I've been doing with like kind of doing things differently, and I believe I've shared this before, is taking like the juiciest part of my story of whatever I'm posting and putting that as the first sentence to get people to stop. So I just have been using this as an example. My one post, when I first thought about this relationship group, the very first sentence said, I'm talking about more sex. And right away, people are like, stop, I want to read this kind of thing. And then, so just if you have a story to tell, it's a little longer, put the juiciest part of it at the top to get people to actually stop and read it. That's what I got. Any questions about any of that? Okay. Well, I hope that was helpful. In my heart, I truly believe that we are capable of being an elite team. And I believe that diamond is contagious. So I'm not going to stop showing up regardless of how few people show up. Regardless of how few people show up, I'm just not. Like, coaching has changed my life. Regardless of like what I've gone through, regardless of what anyone's going through, there's such a huge opportunity here that you're totally missing it if you're not taking it. And I truly believe that. And I believe that we're better together versus just like one person trying to go off and do it on their own. But thank you guys for hopping on. I really appreciate it, and have a good rest of your night. Bye.